Those of you who live in small towns, what is the current local controversy all about?
A guy wanted to bury his parents on their parents, slightly rural, totally out of the way, virtually no neighbor's property, but the village said no way. We don't do that here. We're classy. So he went to the state for permission to build a funeral home, crematorium instead, and he built a giant mausoleum with both their caskets right on the corner of the property where everyone and their grandma can see it when they drive by. And he has zero plans to actually turn this into a functioning business. It's about half done, no landscaping, and construction vehicles parked all over the place. Gotta hand it to him.
About 2 years ago, the mayor of the town I live in got caught with drunk driving his lawnmower down Main Street at around 2 a.m. about 6 weeks after being elected.
A couple promised a lot of cakes and fancy breads to the local festival, and didn't deliver. Everyone is mad at them for the last 2 weeks.
Town of about 1800. The girls' volleyball coach got a DWI. The school's principal went to pick her up from jail, and was arrested for DWI himself. Somehow it got out that these two, both married, were having an affair.
Not current, but it needs to be documented in history, the serial catnapper. A couple lost their cat, so they went knocking door to door in our town, and came across their cat crying in a random home's front window. They call the police, who arrive and find 50+ missing cats, along with a effing graveyard of cats in the garden. Some that had been missing for up to 7 years. It culminated in the catnapper, a 50+-year-old woman, stuffing as many cats as she could in a car and going on a police chase through our little town. Most of the cats were identified and taken home, a very small few went to rescue centers, and the catnapper is currently going under mental health treatment. Apparently she just took home any cat she saw while on a walk for the last 7 years. This happened about a couple years back, but I had to tell the tale.
People here in my town of 396 still upset that the local Christmas tree was taken down and thrown away with all the lights still on it.
The woman who just got elected mayor owns most of the property downtown, and all the open seats on city council went to her employees. Can't wait to see the corruption in action.
Local government is eye-wateringly corrupt most places. My granddad and uncle worked for years and years as a father-son home-building operation. Just a couple of honest, hard-working builders. Well, in the 80s, townhomes started to be really big, and consequently my grandfather bought some property with the aim of building some, but he needed to go before the city council to get the zoning changed. They told him to go kick rocks, of course. Well, there was a real estate fat cat on the council who voted no along with the others. So what did this guy do after shooting it down? He immediately bought up that land, had the zoning changed, and built rows of townhouses.
Swans in the local rivers, lakes have been dying from avian flu, and we've all been warned to keep our dogs away from sick or dead swans in case infection spreads to humans.
No luck with them swans then?
Travel baseball. There is a new organization in town that is absolutely blood-sucking money out of parents of 7 to 12-year-olds, and they have no clue.
As someone who comes from a small town where this is pretty prevalent, it can become a pit. The actual organizations are set up in a city about 20 minutes away, but a lot of the tournaments were taking place at a pair of bars that have playing fields on them. The tournaments make the bars a lot of money because of these tournaments, and people try to argue that it's great that the money is staying in the community, though most people don't realize it's going into the pockets of two guys that are huge sleazebags that were the ones to originally bring the travel leagues into town.
Small town with 3,000 inhabitants. Everyone knows each other, everyone knows where everyone works, who is related to whom, and so on. Still, my cousin doesn't know who is the father of her child.
Delilah from the Love Song Request radio show that's been on for like 30 years lives here and has been trying to convince all the downtown business owners to paint their storefronts pastel. It's a real kerfuffle.
They just built a new Verizon in town. But someone started a rumor that it was also going to be a Panera Bread. Someone went as far as to mark it on Google Maps as a Panera, even though the building is clearly a single store with Verizon signage.
We currently have a similar situation. Town of 3,700. Old grocery store was leveled and a gas station is being built. Someone started a rumor it was a Sonic. An announcement was made clarifying the new establishment is not Sonic, it's just a gas station, mini-mart. The town Facebook group is livid. People are now attacking the town government for the loss of Sonic, even though it was never going to be a Sonic. It must be the tater tots. There's also a pig that keeps getting loose and wandering down the state highway. The owner is convinced someone is letting it out but finding a way to avoid the trail cameras he set up.
The pig is just trying to get to the nearest Sonic.
A woman found a dog and tried to find the owner for a day or two. She then took it to a rescue. Owner of dog post looking for dog and she let him know the rescue. Owner calls rescue who now will not return dog due to owner negligence. Woman who found dog is now getting poo on.
That's unfortunate for everyone, including the dog. Was it really negligence? Sometimes no matter how hard you try, your wily-ass dog finds a way to go on an adventure.
The dog looked fine from the posted pictures. From what I understand so far, owner had been looking for him but wasn't on Facebook. The woman who gave the dog to the rescue is trying to help get the dog back and has called the rescue, but they still refuse to give the owner their dog back. The anger she's getting is we have a local dog shelter that is no kill, and if she'd taken it there it'd have been the most logical place most people would check first, but she went straight to a rescue.
Lol, the mayor has a personal feud with this one guy that has an emotional support pig while living in the village. Housing farm animals are illegal within the village. This is upstate NY with a population of 2,200. Even more silly is this guy lives on the last parcel in the village. Next door is a hayfield.
Sheep. Whether or not to continue allowing a flock of sheep to graze on the town green, with a petting area for lambs. Some think the sheep do a fine job of keeping the grass under control and fertilized, others want landscaping professionals to do the job.
But that's literally what the town green was for. The city I live in, around 10,000 residents or so, doesn't allow food trucks to operate outside of things like festivals. There has been a push to change that, and, coincidentally, majority of most vocal people against them are restaurant owners.
A woman on the city council constantly spouts about cleaning up the admittedly horrible D problem in town and goes on sanctimonious rants on social media about it. Her son is the main dealer in town. He lives in her house. It's not a secret at all, and he gets arrested for poo all the time and she gets him off the hook every time. Full disclosure, I don't live there anymore thankfully, but most of my family does. Edit, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it is to thin competition. Although to be perfectly honest, the town is only like 1,000 strong and he really doesn't have competition. Mostly because people know his mum can pull a few strings and F you over or just run you out of town.
The sheriff in the next town from my hometown has a son like this. He wasn't the main guy, but he was a lot of people's go-to. Dude would also get arrested for prostituting himself and got the unofficial nickname, Lick DK, when it came out that he started with the later.
My parents live in a tiny Greek village that has a grand total of 3 families, including my parents, and currently they're trying to rectify the fact that our dog killed our neighbor's chicken.
Did the dog go into their yard, or did the chicken wander into your parents'?
Neither. Both the chickens and our dog have free-range abilities. No leash laws in rural Crete, and no fences on anybody's properties.
They're still trying to figure out who is black. The village has 249 people. On the census everyone reported white except one person who reported biracial or something, and now the demographics show that the town is 0.7% black.
Someone got a 23andMe test.
So our controversy has been resolved, but the town I grew up in had a beefalo cow-buffalo crossbreed escape from a slaughterhouse. It spent months running wild in the wooded areas around town, living off whatever it could find to eat. I had friends who were out for drives sending me pictures of their beefalo encounters like it was Sasquatch. This went on for months. The story got picked up by a big YouTube channel and went viral. Link. Edit. Thanks everyone for the awards. Didn't expect to wake up to this. Glad you all enjoyed the story.
That was a great watch. Glad Buddy is now living out his beefalo dream.
County scale, the council voted to redistrict based on maps that they made themselves. It was vetoed in favor of one made by an outside firm. They overrode it. Gerrymandering to hell and back. Town scale, they're gonna demo the empty Sears building and I'm trying to find how and when so we can go watch it implode or something. Not controversial, just wild. Very local scale, the 102-year-old pillar of the community died and 2 pastors were fighting over who got to preside over the service. Neither could achieve a victory, so they just recited the same prayers after each other. It was weird. Extended family scale, at this funeral I mentioned the guy with the bulldozer, who digs the graves and was informed that's my second cousin. I blurted out the only thing I know about him, which is that he owes my parents $400 for double charging them for digging my grandfather's grave. His wife was there. We don't know if she heard me or not. My mom isn't pleased.
The pastor who went first is the clear winner.
3 kids stole poo from the local shop, weren't even wearing COVID masks, so we have perfect pictures of them.
That takes a lot of stupid.
Local pizza place fired all its staff mysteriously last summer and closed for a few weeks. Naturally, rumors fly right away. Turns out the Mormon owner, who liked to parade his family as the paragon of small-town virtue, was having affairs with multiple staff members. The wife kicked him out, fired anyone who knew, and then rehired and trained a bunch of new staff. One of the fired staff members then opens her own pizza place to rave reviews in the nearest town over. Og Pizza Place announces it will close at the end of the year, right after they run a promo for gift cards. People are pissed they only have a few weeks to use the gift cards they just bought, and were planning to give as Christmas presents. After weeks of record sales, Og Pizza Place announces they're staying open after all, and now people are pissed they used up the cards they'd intended to give as gifts. TLDR. One pizza owner is disgraced. His wife kicks him out and takes over. Then his mistress opens a competing business. Then a bait and switch about closing leads the entire town to be pissed off. Edit. I just got off the phone with my dad and he told me that new pizza place was actually founded by 2 mistresses. I straight up didn't believe him and he sent me the website for the new place. Yep, mistress number 2 as a manager. And their pizza names are all spin-offs of Og Pizza Place.
Every town's got that good pizza place drama.
Surprisingly enough, there isn't one at the moment. In our 3K pop town, everyone has come together recently because one of our local homeless veterans lost his pet cat. The entire town has banded together to try and find her, and even hated enemies are planning out search parties together.
An 81-year-old woman got bit by a bear whilst trying to protect her dog.
The town just spent a lot of people's tax dollars to create a new logo and slogan. The logo? It's an satellite image of the town with the main roads of the square being highlighted to look like a tic-tac-toe board. It's seriously a big controversy right now, because anyone with Google Earth and Ms. Paint could have made it. Edit, people have been asking for the link. Here you go. Link.
My family thought that the term Karen being used on Facebook specifically meant the woman named Karen that works at the gas station near me. I had mentioned her once at home and my mum was like, oh, everyone hates her on Facebook right now. They all think she's a snitch.
That's such a mom thing to do.
Local McDonald's wants to build a drive-through. Some people are dead against it, but others think it's long overdue as the McDonald's is always crowded. The people against believe it'd ruin the character of the area. I'm not sure where I stand.
Ruin the character of the area? Lol, imagine thinking you are too classy for McDonald's drive-through, but not McDonald's dine-in.
The eccentric millionaire that owned every building in downtown and used them to house his extensive rock collection died like 15 years ago, and they still haven't figured out what to do with all the rocks.
Tucson, Arizona holds a gem and mineral festival every year. I'm sure you'd find some buyers there.
Our mayor posted a bunch of revenge P photos of his ex on Reddit. His office and home were raided in August, charges were announced in November. He finally stepped down from office last week after his plea bargain was denied by the judge, and his trial is set for April. Shortly after his arrest, his current fiancée called a DC radio morning show to defend him on air. I'm sure you can imagine all of the drama.
One guy wanted to open a gas station but the property wasn't zoned for it. The town wouldn't change it for him, so he put toilets on all of his properties and used them as flower planters. The town has tried many different strategies to get rid of them, to the point where they made a law and then tried to enforce it. They got their asses sued off and the toilets still stand. To be fair, he keeps them in great condition and replaces any broken ones after storms. Edit. It was a Dunkin' Donuts, not a gas station. Edit 2. Another interesting thing, the local high school mascot is the Steve the Sandstoner, so all of our apparel says Stoner Pride. Link about it. Link.
Not a small town, but my sister's city has the opposite problem. Guy wanted to open a taco shop but the property was zoned for a gas station. So dude opens a gas station that also sells tacos, but charges at least double to going rate of gas, so he never has to buy or sell gas. Apparently the tacos are pretty good.
We have a Starbucks trying to open in my hometown, but half the city doesn't want it to happen, saying it'll kill the small businesses around it. Literally being built like 2 doors down from a local coffee shop. The town's up in arms about it.
So this one has been ongoing for a while, but the Nutcrackers, my hometown, where I no longer live, but still have family so I keep apprised of local matters, has decided, in a bizarre bid to increase tourism, to become the Nutcracker town. The reason? An older woman donated her Nutcracker collection to the Historical Society. Something like 2,500 Nutcrackers. I think because her kids told her flat out they would dispose of them after she died if she did not make alternate arrangements. So, the town decided, well, they had all these Nutcrackers on display. This could be good for tourism. We could be known for something. People were bewildered and predictably upset. A lot of townsfolk don't want to be the Nutcracker town. All the local businesses have been pressured to buy these giant expensive cardboard nutcrackers from the local print shop. They are terrifying. There's been general outcry, Facebook groups, the whole 9 yards. And still the town persists. Still there are these hollow-eyed giant cartoonish cardboard nutcrackers everywhere you look. Edit. Someone guessed it, so I have effectively triangulated myself. Internet safety fail 101. If you want to see some local news on the subject, look no further. Link. Edit 2. Okay, since many people have asked, and not everyone can access the news sites, I've attempted to upload a picture of the cardboard nutcrackers. Link.
I don't know why, but the idea of people who don't want to be a Nutcracker town being forced to live amongst scary giant cardboard nutcrackers seems really hilarious.
One guy started a home edition without getting the required permitting, then threatened to beat up the mayor when confronted about it. The mayor backed down and let him do it. That spread around town, so others have also threatened the mayor to be able to build poo they shouldn't, so now all the hillbilly types in town are just doing whatever they want with their yards and houses, which is starting to cause problems as they dig and cut various things underground, because of course they aren't calling to get surveyed for where all the buried infrastructure is. Edit. Change the wording so people wouldn't think the mayor was having people beat him up.
I'm sorry, that sounds like a legitimate problem, but that's hilarious.
In our small English village, someone has managed to knock over one of the speed limit signs at one end of the road. It's a mystery. Everyone is trying to guess who did it. What happened? Was it intentional? Except it's not a mystery in our house. It was my sister, and she hit it when she swerved out of the way of an oncoming car, narrow country road. We'll keep acting like we're as clueless as everyone else though.
I can't believe it worked. We started a thread and made up all these replies and successfully baited you. You'll be receiving your bill from the township in 3 to 5 business days. Nice work, everyone.
Someone changed the local Facebook page from Small Town Community Page to Small Town Anti-Vaxxer Group. The ensuing debates and confusion as to how the page moderators had their accounts hacked and who was behind it. I poo you not, the current chief suspect is the moderator of the rival Small Town Community Facebook group. Lockdown has given some people too much time on their hands.
Yards were dug up 2 years ago to lay to the house fiber in preparation for fiber being dug down along the road. Still no fiber along the road. Edit. Holy crap, this blew up. Guys, stop. I can't download all these replies until I get fiber.
I work in telecom, and the crazy thing is that they are giving so much grant money to help companies do this. The company I used to work for is going to be able to install a whole neighborhood for free with grant funding. Customers will just have to pay for services.
Population of 1,000 here. Some of the power got knocked out BC of a raccoon doing some dumb poo on a power line.
That happens quite often in my town, except it's snakes and squirrels getting into power line boxes, frying it all.
My dad's stepkids are being sexually assaulted by their biological father. The father is BFFs with the corrupt sheriff of the town, so the police won't do anything about it. Now my dad is running for sheriff so that he can get the father arrested.
Y'all have like decent answers, and in my small ass UK village it is legit just this person being Villager of the Year for the 7th year in a row.
No one likes an overachiever.
They are widening the sidewalks on Main Street through town. The plans have been available and has been going through red tape for years. Part of the plan is parallel parking on a small section. It got the okay, and a bunch of people including my aunt went down to complain. It would appear that those people including my aunt have no idea what the plans look like, nor did they provide them at the town hall meeting. They just don't want parallel parking. I looked at what the end result would be and it's an absolute necessity. TLDR, people hate change.
Well, we are still talking about the police raid made this summer that found 90 kilograms, yes 90 goddamn kilos, of unspecified DG, it was amphetamine. And also that this year's Christmas tree was ugly on the side towards the pizzeria. We are about 1100 people living here. Asterisk correction. It turns out it was mostly cannabis. Sorry about that.
The location of a Veterans Memorial. There is a lot of construction and the city wants to move the Veterans Memorial, just a plaque, about 150 feet to a new spot where it will have a little park and sitting area. Half of the vets and some conservative city council members are pissed and making all sorts of noise. City is confused because it's actually a better memorial, only 150 feet away from the original. City council elections begin to use this as their platform. Facebook fights galore. It was amazing.
Holding PG&E responsible for burning down half the county last summer.
In my wife's hometown of about 2K people, the roadside produce stand guy is in a feud with a new second produce stand that just opened. The original produce guy trained the new guy for a while, apparently then fired him. Now the fired guy opened his own spite produce stand. They got in a fistfight and now the whole town has taken produce stand sides. The mayor and the only police officer in town are also involved and their wives are fighting. It is truly the dumbest version of Hatfields and McCoys, but no less redneck. Edit. This blew up. I have asked my wife for the screenshots she had. These are what the original guy sent the new stand guy, which he then posted on his FB. What he wrote is 10x better than anything I wrote, I promise. Link.
I love it. Almost Shakespearean to me.
About a year ago, my hometown's favorite eating establishment burnt down. Lot of people pooled money to get him a new spot. A failing car salesman converted his place to a restaurant and partnered with the beloved restaurant owner. Business was thriving, food was fantastic, and it was the place to get food. The failing car salesman was talking and then some to the local bicycle behind his wife's back and was giving her free drinks, and the two would stay at the place way beyond closing time. One of her kids went on her phone and was scrolling and found nudes on her phone of car salesman. The kid sent it to his friends and the friends sent it to even more people. Now basically the entire town has seen this red-headed man nude wearing cowboy boots. Beloved restaurant owner quit and business is no longer booming because he has no cook. Car salesman is getting a divorce and closing the restaurant, and this happened only 4 days ago. Edit 1. Wow. Thank you everyone for the upvotes. This post has more upvotes than the population of my hometown, 1.7k. Edit 2. Sorry for the confusion regarding local bicycle. I told this story as if it's to someone in my town who would just understand, so that's on me. Reddit, we gotta talk. A lot of you are trying to stand up for this lass, good on you, but she's a lady with 21 kids with 19 different lads, and all but 4 have a reputation in the town. The 4 that don't are because the fathers have full custody of them. She's really not a very redeemable character in this situation. Edit 3. A few asked for the photo to be uploaded, and what the heck. Lol, you guys are wild. Edit 4. So the beloved restaurant owner left the car salesman's restaurant partnership because of this fiasco. Some say there was some tension about how the business was ran, and some say there was tension because he was cheating on his wife. Status update. The latest rumor off the old GRP Vine says the restaurant owner got a killer deal from the local real estate guy and will renovate an old closed business downtown into his new restaurant. Fingers crossed, because he really knows his stuff.
Oh, now that is a proper scandal.
In my town there was an empty building that is being built into a bar and nightclub. Across the street is a church, and the church is pissed and trying to stir up everyone by protesting a bar so close to their church building. I live on a dead-end street in the woods. There are only 7 houses on our street, so everybody knows everybody. And for the most part, everybody likes everybody, with the exception of Frank. Frank effing sucks. Frank has 3 or 4 pooty vehicles parked on the narrow street in front of his house, despite having ample room to park the vehicles in his driveway. He blows all of his leaves into the street and leaves them there. He is loud, obnoxious, and rude. He burns poo in a barrel in his backyard, despite a borough ordinance against it. And Frank gets away with everything, because Frank's brother is one of only 5 cops. It sucks. Anyway, one other thing about Frank is he has a royal-ass ton of feral cats that live on his property. They set up shop under the pooty shed behind Frank's house and just crank out kittens. The cats visit our home and F with our indoor cats through the windows, are constantly setting off the neighborhood dogs, and leave small animal corpses everywhere. Well, someone finally snapped and had been systemically catching Frank's cats and taking them to the Humane Society. It took him a couple weeks to notice, but Frank has finally noticed that he is short 5 or 6 cats. He has knocked on everyone's door to ask if they have his cats, or if we know who took his cats. Everyone knows exactly who took the cats, but nobody says DK about poo because everyone hates Frank and his effing cats. F you, Frank.
Our local utility is finally going to start fluoridating our water, and all the old farts and Karens are out protesting on Nextdoor and Facebook. And we're like, WTF, we haven't been fluoridating this whole time? What year is this?
Thank you for watching. We upload new videos every day, so be sure to come back for more fun. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed the video.